Hi, I'm Michelle, and I'm the president of the Holistic Chamber of Commerce, Baltimore and Severna Park area. And we're in Maryland, and we are bringing today the meeting about policies, procedures, and boundaries, helping people to understand that are running their own business, things that may or may not work for them. And we have Erin Smith and Scott Goldberg that are going to be speaking with us today and answering some questions. And we are going to start by doing some introductions.
Michelle, would you grant me permission to be able to share my screen, please? Thank you. Okay. All right, 1 second. Okay, are you seeing Nancy? Are you seeing yourself on there?
Yes, I am.
Beautiful. All right, here we go.
Greer and my husband Billy Greer and I are owners of the Jing Institute of Kung Fu and Tai Chi, located in Arnold, Maryland, near Annapolis. Founded in 2000, Jing offers award-winning programs both in person and online. Kung Fu increases self-confidence, discipline, focus, fitness, and strength. Tai Chi also has numerous health benefits, including improved balance, stress reduction, and reduced joint pain. Jing Ying's programs are for all levels of fitness and a broad range of ages. Our youngest student is 4, and our oldest student is 85. Improving lives and building community are Jing Ying's passions. We do that through teaching effective self-defense skills, improving health, creating a place for students to become friends and support each other, partnering with local businesses, offering community workshops, and donating to organizations who do great work. So far, Jing Ying has donated over $112,000 to our community. Jing Ying means best of the best, and we will help you and your loved ones become your best. For 2 weeks of free classes, visit our website at jingying.org or give us a call at 410-431-5200. Hope to see you soon.
All right. Next.
Hello, everyone. My name is Laura Goldstein, and I help other professionals, leaders, entrepreneurs who have hit a breaking point in their life, namely around their career, their goals, where they're really starting to question why they're doing what they're doing and almost feel a little bit disconnected from themselves, from their passion, from their creative dreams and aspirations. And this can happen for a lot of reasons. I mean, COVID basically, forced people out of jobs or to change the way that they were working in the world. It could even be a divorce where all of a sudden now you're responsible for financially supporting yourself and you need to figure out a different way of earning income. There's many reasons why people go through transitions. And it's within this transitional phase that I help people return to who they are at soul level, identify their gifts, their strengths, how they best operate in the world so that they can create a work life that they love and that's extremely fulfilling and completely in alignment to who they are. I'm also the vice president of the Holistic Chamber of Commerce. If you'd like to reach me, go ahead and shoot me an email at lauragoldstein.com. You can also visit me at lauragoldstein.com.
Hey everyone, I'm Kim Roman from Square Foot Gardening for You, a woman veteran-owned business that's been around since 2010. I teach small space, high intensive, super simple veggie gardening methods, and my goal is basically to help you confidently grow your own food. I also do a lot of virtual and in-person classes when we're back to our new normal. But right now I'm teaching virtually classes, seminars, demonstrations, things like that. My favorite are lunch and learns, which I do for your staff or clients. And I've taught at Johns Hopkins University, Northrop Grumman, and several other places. Also, I have a series of online, on-demand, virtual classes at my website, which is sfg4u.com. That's like square foot gardening, SFG, the number 4, the letter U.com. And by the way, my first published book is coming out fall of 2021. It's called Ultimate Guide to Indoor Gardening. So I'm going to be able to help you confidently grow your own food indoors. That's Kim Roman, Square Foot Gardening, the number 4, the letter U. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Quaylee Holland, and I'm the CEO and founder of Your Body Lifestyle. I am an international fitness trainer, integrated nutrition health coach with a master's in human relations, concentration behavior modification. I help women, especially executive women who are out of balance and stressed out, to commit to be fit in their personal and professional life, to achieve wealth, WELLTH, and to stop sacrificing their health for money. I do this by rebalancing the weights in their life and identifying the root causes that are impacting their health, happiness, and harmony. By empowering them to live with intention, balance, and wisdom, so they are able to live a successful, sustainable life. If this sounds like something that you will be interested in, please call me at 202-743-1905 or by email QUAY@QURBodyLifestyle.com or by my website, www.QURBodyLifestyle.com. If you need help with rebalancing and aligning for a better you, your mind, your body, your life, please give me a call.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rob Brooks, and I am the Associate Director of Career Services at Maryland University of Integrative Health, which is a graduate school located in Laurel on the Howard County side. And we have master's and doctoral programs in such majors as acupuncture, nutrition, health coaching, health promotion, herbal medicine, and yoga therapy. My role there as the Associate Director of Career Services is to help to connect our students and alumni with the integrative health employment world. And my goals for being a part of the Holistic Chamber are to see if there are any opportunities. If any of you ever has any job opportunities, please let me know. And my email address is rbrooks1@muih.edu. And also to learn more about integrative health and the fields within it, what you're all doing, to be part of the integrative health community, and also to lend my perspective to the discussions since I'm a career counselor, and I've been a career counselor for over 25 years. So nice to meet you all, and look forward to collaborating. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Scott Goldberg,
And I'm Michelle Krause.
and we are the owners of Vital Fitness Holistic Center, located in Severna Park, Maryland.
Scott is a functional fitness specialist.
And Michelle is an advanced medical massage therapist and also does body work.
And we have been in the community. I've been in the community all of my life. And I've been doing therapeutic body work since 16 years ago. And so has Scott has been a functional fitness specialist for 16 plus years as well.
And when we started working together, we realized how much our services complemented each other in terms of not only our philosophy, but also what we can bring to our community.
Yeah, it's so important to us when we met 7 years ago to make sure that people understood that it's not all about working out, that it's also about making sure that your body is loose enough and being able to get the alignment in your body and your spine so that when you're working out, you're not going to have an injury.
So as a result, I do a lot of injury prevention and restorative care with people, where I call myself the mechanic of the body. And that's done through functional training. So the muscles can fire when they need to fire and relax when they need to relax.
And Scott does a fantastic job, even in a class setting, being able to get people to get the specialty, the tailored workout that they need to be able to continue in the class setting, but as well as getting the individual care that they need and the focus that they need.
So as a result of that, many of our members benefit in our holistic center from both sides of us, where they will get the care that they need for preventative care through Michelle. And then for myself as well, I work in what I call almost like an adult playground, where I create fun and creative exercises, interacting everybody to be able to create the synergy that we need, not only to support each other's fitness goals, but also overall healthcare goals as well.
So one of the most important things to us, because we both come from a background where we were no pain, no gain, we thought that's how it was supposed to be. So now that we've learned and educated ourselves over more than almost 2 decades now, that where our health was starting to deteriorate from that we wanted to bring that to the community and not only help to bring health to the community, but to bring education to the community.
So as a result of that, like I said, our holistic center definitely relies on connectedness within the community and relationships as well. And that was the impetus for us starting the Holistic Chamber of Commerce in Severna Park in Baltimore.
It was really fantastic. I got asked to open up the Holistic Chamber of Commerce, and it's great because it was already how our business model was working, that we want to rely on people in the area to be able to send the community out to different practitioners and different professionals and businesses. And so the Holistic Chamber of Commerce, we work from the heart and not with our pocket in mind. And we really care about the community. It's so important to us.
All right, I'm going to turn it back over at this time to Michelle. Those are our introductions from the Flipgrid.
Okay, and I wanted to share with you, Laura and I talked about it, and I decided to go ahead and do the spotlight video, which I already kind of did an introduction, but I'm going to go ahead and do the spotlight video for today. And so if you're interested in doing the spotlight video, just let Laura or myself know, and you can do that for the next meeting. I think are we still looking for somebody in June, or is Billy doing it in June?
Billy's doing it.
Billy's doing it in June. Okay. All right. So I do cranial sacral therapy, and but I also do many other modalities, many modalities of massage. Cranial sacral therapy is quite different from massage in the fact that there's really not a whole lot of movement. So if somebody were to ask me to demonstrate something, it's like watching paint dry. But what's going on in between my hands and in the person's body is that there is tons of movement going on, little micro movements. Sometimes it feels like a butterfly fluttering. Sometimes you can just really feel the release in the body. But one of the best ways to describe it, I think, for me, that has helped me is when somebody walks up and they put your hand on your shoulder and your shoulder starts to relax and you didn't realize how tense your shoulder was. So maybe if they put it on one shoulder and not the other, you'll feel that one shoulder really relax and your body is almost given an invitation to let go and release and to become aware of the stress that you're holding in your body. And the great thing about it is it's not something that I'm necessarily doing. What I do as a therapist is I assist the body to see the need to let go of restrictions or to allow it to have kind of like an open gateway just to let go. So a lot of times as we go through life, our bodies build up a lot of tension. And each time they build up that tension, they don't necessarily let go of it. And so you may end up as a child having the nice regular straw where your fluids will flow through adequately and everything is moving. And you know how children's toes and their fingertips always feel really warm. And then you touch an older person and their fingertips and their toes might be colder. And so you basically go from a regular straw to a coffee straw and then to a chewed up coffee straw. The chewed up coffee straw is just where things drip. And, you know, you're just getting like little drips of neurons, little drips of your lymphatic system going through, because everything has gotten so tight and misaligned over time. So what I do is I help to welcome the fascia and your nervous system to start to really let go. And fascia is like that gristle-like thing with a chicken, but we have it all through our body. It's wrapped around like a spider web. And so what we want to do is we want to get that to loosen up and the muscles to loosen up. And so from the inside out, your body will start having that welcome to let go. And you'll start to feel the tissue soften in between my hands. And without moving, your body knows that it can let go. Your body starts realizing that it can go back to the way that it used to be. And so you end up, when you leave, you end up having a feeling of, you feel warmer usually. You usually sleep better. You also feel like more wide awake. And I often get told, I think the funniest one is when people share with me that they feel taller. I always say, that's what I want you to put on, you know, definitely when you give me a review, just put that one, because that's the one that people stick with. They're like, I feel so much taller. So if you think about your spine and how your vertebrae go together and they have this fascia that pulls them together. Well, over time, we think that people shrink. So as it pulls the layers together, because we've had trauma happen, what cranial sacral therapy does is it helps that fascia to release and let go. And in releasing and letting go, you're releasing the restrictions as well in the dural tube and where the nerves come out of each vertebrae. So when I talk about watching paint dry, a lot of that is because it is a minimal amount of force. It's like like you would hold a butterfly, or you want to make sure that it's less pressure than a nickel. You want the body to choose to let go, and then you're going to get a longer result from choosing to let go. A lot of times if you do something where you're forcing something, then it might put you back in that stressful state where you might have received the emotional trauma or the physical trauma that happened to you. And we definitely don't want that to happen. We want your body to choose to let go because it's going to last longer. And it can get to the point where it really lets go, where you don't ever have it back. Cranial sacral therapy is a great therapy to work with chiropractors, with acupuncturists. It's a really great complementary. Like I said, we work with the muscles, the nerves, and the fascia. And when we get these restrictions to let go, then your body can breathe more freely and the fluid can flow more freely. And those muscles that are overly tight all the time will start to loosen. So it's great for TMJ, fibromyalgia, pretty much anything, a lot for bruxism and any type of chronic issue, but it's great for everyday issues too, with migraines, because it helps to get rid of that tension, not just from what you have going on, but things that might have happened to you decades in the past. Like I have people that come in that are 60 that think that their bike hitting the back of a car had nothing to do with why they have back pain right now. So it really does get to the heart of it. I got rid of the migraines I had for 25 years from car accidents and concussions through cranial sacral therapy. And with Vital Fitness Holistic Center, we accept FSA, HSA. You can also ask me to write you out a bill to submit to the insurance company. And that's pretty much it, I think, unless anybody had any questions. I saw Kim shaking her head there for a little bit. Was that approved?
Amen.
But yeah, I mean, the great thing is it gets rid of emotional stress as well as physical stress. And that's just huge in getting yourself out of your way as well. It really helps you to understand that a lot of the things that you're holding on to could be old, that angst that you get even after a car accident, you know, or a near miss, or when you slip your foot on the bottom of the step, you know, that little mini heart attack that you get. We build those little things up over time, and then we call ourselves old. And what I call you is misaligned, and it's easy to get yourself back into alignment. It can be done gently. So I see
And I
Lori.
guess based on its name, it mostly takes place in this area of your
No,
body, but though it affects other parts.
It is all through the body. It's cranial sacral, meaning it goes from the cranium to the sacrum, which is down into the lowest part of your spine. But there are other parts of your body that are going to get the cranial sacral fluid. And there's sometimes that, like I've even been able to tell if somebody had a riding accident one time. I kept saying to her, I feel like your leg is just twisting and turning. And I had to keep holding her leg up and moving her leg while my hand was on her lower spine. And she said, oh my gosh, I was thrown from a horse and I got stuck in the stirrup and I was dragged around. You know, so it's allowing the body to go through, like getting rid of the emotional, like the feeling for the body and also for the mind, as well as the physical part of it. Like they can kind of go through it and feel it unwinding, or especially having children, a lot of women are more tense in the pelvic area, and you almost feel like you're pregnant again. Sometimes you'll feel a butterfly flutter, you'll feel that movement. And I try to let people know that 24 to 48 hours after you get a session done, you'll still feel that, so that I don't have women calling me a little bit frightened that they might be pregnant afterward. And I'm like, oh no, that's just leftover stuff, anyway, but just in case, but but yeah, it's what got me where I am today. I was supposed to have a surgery. Oh gosh, what was it, like 17 years ago now? I was told that I would not be able to recoup without a surgery. And this is the path that I got on. And so I went from fire department to this, which is a lot different.
I was going to say, like the feeling I get is about 5 minutes after I'm down the road in the car, it'll be like my cheeks start flushing and, warmth and everything.
Yeah, because your body learns how to heal itself. And that's what's really neat, is that for the next couple of days, I've heard up to 2 weeks that people can still feel the changes in their body because the body is learning how to self-heal again. And so I basically just assist in letting the body listen to itself. That's my favorite part, is when people come in and they tell me that they felt something after the first time. They'll see me on the table, they'll say, I didn't feel a thing. And then a day or two later, they're like, oh my gosh, is this normal? And, they're like, I slept great. And, and then they're like, and I noticed that, my legs seem to be the right distance. I'm not tripping anymore. Yeah. Teaching people that listen to their body and that their body is speaking to them. And I saw, Laura, you had a post today about that.
Yeah, my radio show was talking about listening to what your body is telling you.
Yeah, I read that. I went through and read the thing. I'm going to have to look at the radio show. Did you post the radio show today?
I just had it live, so the replay will be up in a couple days.
Okay. Yeah, because I jumped on that right away and I was like, wow, what a, great way to engage with a question. So we wanted to, I'm going to talk real quick about our next empowering mastermind. Is going to be on June the 7th, Monday at 8:30. And then our next, and I will put that link in the chat bar. And then our next meeting and the Eventbrite is already up for June 15th. It is with Felicia, and I cannot remember her last name. It starts with an S. And it is Break the Stuck. And I do already have that up, so you can look it up and see what that's all about for our next meeting. It's about breaking barriers with your business if you're stuck. So I'm going to go ahead and post those. And then I was going to have Laura ask the questions for you guys today. And
Question
if you
about
want to,
June 7th, in one of the emails it says that we were not having a morning mastermind in June. Was there a conflict for you? So there was no June 7th.
oh, you know what? Hold on. It's because I was possibly going to be away. So let me double check it. You go ahead, and I'll post it in there if it's this June. I'll post it in the comments.
Okay.
Yeah, because I had something that was going on, but I don't think it is now.
And is the June meeting on the 15th, is that on Zoom?
Yes, it is. We were talking about maybe doing a picnic outside at some point, sometime between May and June, May and July. We have to check our schedules and see what we can do. I am good on June the 7th. So we will do that. I look forward to it way too much.
Okay,
I will make it happen.
I have to put us back on.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Okay.
So I didn't send out a video, so I can do a quick
Oh,
intro
yes.
before you ask us questions. Yeah. I must have missed that, so I apologize.
Well, and you want to do it when you answer your first question too?
Okay, yeah, either way.
And then everybody, if you want to put it in the chat, then I can send that out to everybody as well with the meeting, with the recording. And yeah, if you can do a flip grid, Erin, members get to do a flip grid that gets played at each meeting. Non-members can put their information in the chat. I am taking bookings for podcast. And if you want to update and do your flip grid and you're happy with your flip grid and you would like it to be on the YouTube channel, email me and let me know and I'll put it on there and we'll start releasing those out as well. Because I looked at them today and I was going to start putting out some of our spotlight videos. And I figured everybody wanted to update it because that's from 2 years ago. It's been, things have changed a lot, you know, and Laura, I was going to put yours out there, but you have the radio show now. So I want you to be able to talk about that.
Okay.
And I want to start putting those up on the Holistic Chamber of Commerce global page as well. So whenever you are ready to start with our policies, procedures.
Yes. Oh my. It's like
entries. Oh my.
Like lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my. Actually, Erin, go ahead and introduce yourself because we are going to get all excited about policies and procedures. So just kind of do your thing, and then that way we can flow right into that.
Erin, one thing, I'm sending you in the chat bar the link for the flip grid. I'm going to put it in the chat.
Okay, yeah, I totally, I don't know if I got that, so that's helpful. Yeah,
No,
I wasn't aware.
Take it and then you can create it, okay?
Okay, that sounds good. So hi everyone, my name is Erin Smith. I'm a doctor of Chinese medicine, and I'm the founder of a nonprofit wellness center in Sandy Spring, Maryland. It's called Mindful Medicine, and I've been in the Ashton area since about 2013. So it's like Montgomery County on the border of Howard County, and we kind of merged with the Severna Park, Baltimore folks, which I'm super excited to be here with you guys. And so the mission of my nonprofit is to make holistic healthcare really accessible to those in need. And we offer sliding scale services for people on fixed income, like Medicare, Medicaid, people who've been unemployed. Like we've been really trying to help the community as much as we can. And that's offset by, I also accept insurance. So that kind of offsets and helps me to be able to help the community while still, you know, supporting a business and family. So in addition to, so I offer acupuncture and custom herbal formulas, similar to what Michelle's kind of ultimate goal is, by really understanding the root cause of people's imbalances and how they function in the world. So I primarily use those two modalities. And we also have massage therapy here. And pre-COVID, we also had a nutritionist and a couple of counselors also. So our mission is to kind of keep that community aspect going. And we're always kind of looking for other practitioners and kind of growing the community, because I feel like working together is so much more just rewarding. And you know, we all can't help everyone. So I think, you know, we all have our own unique gifts, and, you know, sometimes I really need to send someone to see my friend, the counselor, and really kind of talk through some of the things. So anyway, I'm really into the kind of group and community mentality these days. In addition to acupuncture and Chinese medicine, I'm also an advocate, and distributor of 2 medical devices, Kangen water machines and the Healy microfrequency device. So I've been doing this for about a year, and it's become another way of fundraising for the nonprofit, as well as just a really great addition to our lives. So I've been in practice. I've had my own practice since 2013, and I've been in my current location, my clinic location, for just over 3 years. And so yeah, I think that about sums it up. And I'm just really glad to be connected with other like-minded practitioners and yeah, keep the community going.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, back to policies and procedures. Yay! This isn't really something that we generally love to talk about. I mean, who really likes to talk about policies and procedures and boundaries? However, they are exceptionally important when it comes to client provider relationships, what's expected of you. And also, like, just to make sure that your business is functioning and flowing as it should be. Having policies and procedures in place are extremely helpful, especially if you outsource to people or have like virtual assistants or employees. It's really important to have a set of policies to be able to share with people so everybody's on the same page. So without further ado, I guess we'll start with you, Scott, since Erin just talked. So we'll have you go first on this first question. So what are you currently doing in terms of policies, procedures, or boundaries in your practice that is working, and how do you know it's working?
Well, there are a number of things that I reassess almost monthly. In my head, I'm generally reassessing. I like to do a lot of surveys. So running a functional training business, there on my side of the center is a lot different because there's a lot of day to day. And so the big thing with us since COVID was putting all the protocols in place in terms of procedurally. And so I met with Michelle, the other owner of Vital Fitness Holistic Center, in order to figure out exactly what was going to work. And I also researched out to other states that were already putting things in place and what was working and not working. So what I found is taking a look at other businesses and other practices that are similar to ours and seeing what they currently have in place is typically a place that I start. Not only when it comes to, let's say, COVID protocols, but when it comes to billing systems, when it comes to website, when it comes to social media, because one thing that everyone knows is that if we're not time efficient, time is money. And so a couple of things that I've learned is first with the customer service piece is that I am constantly taking temperature checks of my client base to find out exactly what their needs are, especially to be preventative in place. And that goes to, we're taking a look at customer behaviors, for instance, are shifting now more toward individual sessions from classes. And as a result of that, I have to take a look at exactly the schedule itself and what is in place for them. I take a look at, for instance, once COVID hit, going paperless with all of the documents and that are necessary. And again, finding the people that I need to be able to work on that back office stuff is critical because it's taken away from my being present with the clients as well. The other portion of policies and procedures in place is the social media component, because what I became aware of is it's painfully transparent when you don't have consistent policies and procedures in place to the public perception. And so I try to be as consistent as possible when any policy is in place, and I try to be transparent with the community itself. And so I run everything like almost like linear. I'm a very linear planner, and so I have a whiteboard, and I'll take a look at place at, okay, here's what's going on with COVID. Here's what's going on with billing. Here's what's going on with the accounting side, and making sure that everything is done the way it needs to be done with a checklist. And that's punch list is kind of what I handle. Now, does it all get done at the end of the day? No. The biggest challenge I have as a business owner with policies and procedures is that it's constantly changing. I'm constantly having to reassess and talk to other business owners to find out what their practices are and look ahead as to what is coming. And there's no start or end to my day unless I operate off a notepad on my phone. And that's the only way I can end my day, is making sure, but the notepad will backfill with it. So I hope that answers some of your questions on a global scale.
All right. Erin, what are you currently doing in your business in terms of policies, procedures, and or boundaries that is working, and how do you know that it's working?
Sure. So I think, as Scott was saying, things kind of got derailed with COVID, and it was a time to really kind of look at all of the procedures and boundaries that are, I had here at Mindful Medicine. But I think for me, the biggest thing to ensure those boundaries is I have to be very clear about my time. So what has been really working for me right now is having all of my work days in a row. So that varies between 3 and 4 days a week. And then that follows up with 3 or 4 days with my family and my home life. And I've tried a lot of different schedules over the years. And for me, and being a mom, which is different, I have 2 young kids. So, it really depends on your needs and lifestyle. But this allows for like an easier flow between like being at home and being at work. So that's like a big part of my success, is just having like clear expectations of myself and when I need childcare, and it just flows really well that way. So I just think kind of planning that out. I usually plan like 2 months in advance, like an entire like month or 2 at a time. And that organization really helps keep me on track. We also have like posted procedures related to COVID. I send all of my new patients a detailed email about what the procedures are at the clinic, what to expect, what that my expectations are coming into the clinic. We also have been taking temperatures. I have an online scheduling system. It's called Jane app, and I've had it for a couple years now, but they implemented like a screening email. So it really takes kind of time, it saves me time because they'll screen a patient before every appointment. So my patients are expected to take their own temperature, to report any symptoms, and kind of go through the checklist. So that has been really helpful. And trying to think what else. But I tend to kind of look at things like really holistically. So I know that things are working when I have a balance. And for me, like as a Chinese medicine doctor, I view things from the lens of yin and yang. And so as other holistic practitioners, like it's really important to look at whole systems versus sums of individual parts. And yin and yang are, of course, the 2 primary movements of energy. And you can look at yin and yang in literally everything, the natural world, the human body, and including your business. So for me, to successfully move forward in business, like I have really looked at it from yin and yang. So the yang is symbolize the energy of expansion. So in terms of your business, this energy is like when you're actively promoting your business, you're networking, you're marketing, you're really putting your name out there, you're physically practicing your skills, and you're educating others, you're speaking to others. Anything you do to kind of put your business into action. And that the complementary energy to that to yang is yin. So this symbolizes the energy of contraction and containment. So to me, this is like kind of stepping back, taking the time to really plan and set goals and have things like procedures and boundaries really clear. Your own self-cultivation and continuing education, like refining of your skills, like really that internal part that's going to make you stand out, because the more clear you are, the more focused you are, you come from a really place of strength when putting yourself out there. So, you know, I really look at business from, you know, a balance of those two things. And when I've been too introverted, which I can be, I know that it's time to, you know, network, and I've built a referral of surrounding people. And, but anyway, back to boundaries, I just think that it's a very essential to have that organization. So when you get like that influx of patients, like you're ready and you know what the procedures are, your employees know what to expect, the patients know what to expect. So yeah, that's kind of like how I look at it globally, and some of the specific things I think might help.
That's interesting, because Scott was definitely, you sounded like you're more linear, like visual, linear, a linear process. And the yin and yang is kind of like, you know,
Big
flowing
picture, yeah.
back and forth. Yeah. I love online schedulers. I think for people that have individual appointments or sessions, it saves a lot of time, because you can put in like your terms and agreements, which they read in advance. Michelle, you probably use an online schedule for your stuff.
I do. And I've actually been looking for Jane. I've been looking at Jane app, but I want someone to speak to about it. So I looked down for a minute and shot Erin an email and said, let's get together, because I've heard a lot of good things about Jane app. The one that I have has not been working for me. It worked great for a while, but now with COVID, it's not working as well. It seems to have a mind of its own, trying to space people so far apart that, and I build in the time I want separated, but they seem to be wanting to do it themselves now. And so that's changed since COVID. I've absolutely loved this platform for the longest time. And all of a sudden it's not working. And it's frustrating changing to something new. And that's why I put the oh my on the end of this, because yeah, we don't like to talk about those things.
I was very resistant to an online scheduler, especially for classes. I never knew who was going to show up. And it was probably one of the best moves I made when we went online. It was Zoom, even in person. And it's a mainstay. Yes, the clients were initially resistant, that were used to just being able to flow in. But once we got them accustomed to it, I know exactly what to expect. And it was a very easy way to track. And it has been so much easier.
Which is the scary part about us going to a new platform, because it's only been a little bit more than a year that he's been doing it. So we have some people that are older, and you know, that can frustrate people.
The hardest part.
Yeah. And Erin, I'm the same as you. I like to block off my time right in a row and then focus on family and tell everybody I'm checked out for these days.
Yes.
Don't come to me about anything difficult until I'm done with work.
Right. Going back and forth. I've done that before to have my, you know, availability be more spread out through the week for my patients, but it just does not work, because it never feels like there's quality home, you know, like
and having
good food and being with your kids and really present, because you're then just worried about going back to work the next day.
Yeah, you're spread thin. Your energy is very diluted.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can, I love listening to the difference in Scott talking, because he was like so high energy and like right there, and then listening to you talk, the difference in you know, he goes back and forth a lot. He will train and teach and train and teach. And I flat out told him, I'm like, I cannot do that. You know, if somebody even comes into my office or texts me something that I have to deal with, I automatically just look down and I start trying to deal with it, and I totally forget what I'm saying. So for somebody to get that quality, certain things that you do, you have to really be focused for you to be able to give your best.
Laura, can I mention one last thing?
Mhm.
I stole it from Michelle. I decided to make a practice to start my week on a Monday with no clients. And I do not work on Mondays for the center at all. And that has made such a difference for energy level to push through Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Monday and Fridays are my bookend days, and I reserve them for family time or self-care. And that way I can give back to others. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I can carry 36 to 50 hours, not a problem. And I can only sustain that because I have those bookend days. So definitely having that personal time carved out and using it for self-care definitely makes a difference for sustainability.
Yeah.
And it's Tuesday and it's his high functioning day. And that's coming across because if you meet him or talk to him on a Monday or Friday, he's completely different than Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's he's like a bull in a china shop, you know, on the other days. And I just know that it's hard. It's hard for me to handle him being like that. But he's really learned how to relax. And it took, and that's what happened to me too, being in what I was in, doing the job that I did, and then having to go to a quiet job, you know, and Erin, I would gather for you having the kids in between your career.
Right. And the ages they're at, it's tough to balance it all. I mean, I'm in a good place with it now, but you know, we're closing on a house. We just closed on a house. Everything's a little derailed. So, you know, one
And
day
she
at a
blocked
time.
her time for us.
I did. Well, luckily it was already there.
So what happens, like me, if I get a speaking gig, it's based on when this garden club meets or that master gardener group meets. I can't do that at all. Any advice?
Go with it if you want to speak. I mean, you know, I get asked to speak at events, and it doesn't matter whether it's a Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday, what I have planned, and it's something that I feel aligned to do. And so you just, you know, that week your schedule is just off, or you swap days. You know, if you know, a lot of times if like it's a client day and I'm doing something different, I'll just, you know, change my client day to a different day that week. You know, it is what it is.
And I used to be a lot more flexible, like before I had kids and before I was seeing over 30 patients a week, you know, like before I was really, you know, where I wanted to be, I was like, yes, I'll see you at 7 o'clock at night. So it just kind of depends, you know, where you're at in both your business and like, you know, if you have clear boundaries on what, you know, you need to not be working after a certain time, I feel like if people want your services and you to speak, even if you have a hard timeline, I think it's very worth sticking to that because, you know, people will adapt if they need to. And I've been learning that, you know, especially over the last, I'd say, couple years, like our boundaries are important and people will adapt most of the time. So, and I feel like in a certain way, it brings even more respect because, you know, like I can't really get people in week of, even like 2-3 weeks sometimes. And I used to feel very guilty about that. But honestly, like people understand, like I've, you know, been highly recommended to people. And so they understand, like I can't see them tomorrow. Like, so anyway, I just feel like it depends how flexible you are in your life as a whole.
Well, I'm flexible because, you know, older, don't have kids. I do keep my Fridays open. because I usually get my youngest grandson for a long weekend every other week. And, but I mean, this group has a set date, Tuesday, every Tuesday, third Tuesday of the month at such 10 a.m. And, you know, so I either have to be flexible or I don't get the gig.
Kim,
Well,
I don't think there's,
Well,
I-
and
go ahead, Nancy, we
I
haven't
was
heard
just
from
going to
you.
say that, I was just going to say, do usually people though book like a month in advance or several weeks? So then that makes it, it's not like a, you know, like, oh, tomorrow I've got to change my
Now,
schedule.
sometimes I have been asked to do that. Our speaker dropped out. Can you cover? And that's a clear yes or no. If I'm available, I'm going to do it.
Mhm.
But yeah.
That's the best I can give you is I look at everything through cost benefit analysis. I know it's like simple economics. I take a look at is it going to be worth for me my time, not only to flex my time, but for not only financially, but for me feeling good about what I'm doing. So if you are getting the benefit intrinsically, saying this is awesome, I love this group, then you answered your own question. If it's a thing where it's like, okay, this is purely work related, at that point, you have to make a decision. Is it worth your time?
And I'm never going to know if I like the group or not because I'm just meeting them for the first time.
so, well, and then here's the other thing with that. If you're talking about the one in particular that wants you to do it every month, then I would, okay. So if it were one that was reoccurring, I would say, well, let me see how that works out. If I'm able to work that in my schedule, I can do it this one time. And then you decide, like, what do you feel in your gut? I have some people that I know that they just don't work with my schedule at all. And I'll say, okay, well then what time slot does work for you that we can work together? And then that's the time slot that they get. And I have no issue going in for that. But there's some people that you might not have like the best feeling about. And you're like, you know what, this person might cancel, or they've been kind of wishy-washy. So I'll, maybe they're not the best fit for me. And then you recommend them out. And I know you know about recommending out.
Yep.
But yeah, I think a lot of that is go with the gut if you're breaking that. To me, if it were something that were regular, once a month, and sometimes it feels really good to be called last minute too. And you're like, hey, you know what? This one sounds really exciting. I had a yoga gig last year. It was 4 hours straight in the middle of my therapy days, my session days. And I never give those up. But it was online. And I was like, gosh, this is kind of great because I stop in the middle of my day and I do yoga. And I did it 3 weeks in a row. And then I was like, I can't do this anymore. It was way too much because then I got so relaxed that the rest of my day I was spent because I was constantly doing the yoga in between the therapy sessions. And then they cut it down to 2 hours with no break. And I was like, yeah, I can't do this anymore. But it was really nice when it lasted. And, my name got out there and everything. And that was really neat. So, it's just, that's where the personal boundary comes in. You have to look at the personal, the financial, you have to look at the logistics. Is it going to tie you up too much? And there's nothing wrong with just writing it down and then see how you feel and sleep on it. Well, unless it's the next day.
Yeah. And mine's just a totally different gig than y'all's are.
Well,
And I realize that.
Kim, you set boundaries around pricing people who want you to do free things, so you set boundaries in a way that works for you. That's kind of what the whole point is what is most critical for you and what's going to work. All right, I'm going to read out the next question. So Erin, we'll start you first. Is there a policy, procedure, or boundary that you had to adapt that was a bit of a struggle because you were sympathetic to your clients or whatnot, but you really had to implement because of your own needs? You kind of already talked about that, but we can just retouch on that.
Yeah, so I guess one thing I haven't really discussed, so as part of Jane app, I actually do have all of my intake forms and my consent forms. And I also have my cancellation policy. So I have that clearly communicated with people up front. And So I do have a charge for people, well, a charge for people who are consistently late. Like I typically give people, you know, a couple of times before I like bring up the cancellation policy. And it doesn't come up very often, but there are people that will consistently come late. And if they're more than 5 or 10 minutes late, it typically, you know, I'll typically text them and say, you know, we're going to have to cancel or really alter your treatment because, you know, I have to respect the boundary of my other patients, and I will, you know, refuse to get behind for someone who is very late. So, you know, it was hard for me initially to even kind of put that out there because, you know, I know things come up and, but you will come to find if there's kind of a true issue or if this is a consistent pattern for someone. And I think bringing it to their attention can actually be very therapeutic. So that's one thing that I have adopted over time. And back to like my scheduling system, it's really cut down on the no-shows and the forgotten appointments because it will automatically send out an email reminder about 2 days before or a day before. I think you can vary that setting. But honestly, like this has paid for itself, you know, in the number of like fewer no-shows I have. I feel like with COVID, I'm getting more like, oh, I have to change the day, but they'll usually give me like plenty of notice. And Jane also has like a wait list. So I tell people like use the wait list. And so I've been really easily able to fill in when people need to kind of reschedule like the week of. So that's been really helpful. Cancellation policy for people doing individual treatments, I think is really important. Something that's come up very recently is just saying no or not now. You know, as I probably just mentioned, you know, it's hard when people are referring their friends and family, or even a doctor is referring a patient to you. Like it's a real honor when that happens, like that people are trusting me with their family and their other patients. But when your time is limited and when you have your schedule, and you know, sometimes I'm able to be flexible, but sometimes I'm not. So I think being okay with saying no or saying I have a wait list, and I've kind of permanently waitlisted people who are only available after like 4 p.m. because, you know, I have that boundary. I only do that twice a week and it's already very competitive. So setting those boundaries when you need to, being flexible when you can, but I no longer feel that guilt of having to waitlist people or schedule them a month out. And that's okay. Like if your business is to that point, I'm not going to sacrifice my energy, my sleep, my stress, because then that takes away from the care that I can give to you in a month. So I think that's been huge. And I'm a big advocate of like taking time off. We usually go away at least for a long weekend, like once a season. It's been a little less with COVID, but I practice what I preach. So, you know, making time for self-care, making time for what are we working for? You know, we have to enjoy our life and enjoy the things that we want. And for us, it's having adventures and having that time to connect and relax as a family. So those are kind of the things that kind of come to mind most for me is when thinking about boundaries.
Okay. Scott, what about you? Something that you had to set that was a little bit of a struggle because you really felt for your clients, but you had to do it for yourself.
Cancellation policy, definitely, and enforcing it. I have some clients who habitually, I mean, I understand if something happens. The issue is that when you have that relationship with that person and you're building and you're helping them and you're emotionally invested in them, the lines get blurred. And so I've had to pull back from up front and address cancellation policy, which can be an uncomfortable conversation. But I've been very, very clear and consistent about cancellations and also my 30-day written termination. And so I've had clients for years, and the third one is paying upfront for services. And so I've had clients who return and they're like, yeah, can you bill me on this day? And then I realize I'm going to be 4 sessions behind payment. And that causes problems. It's not only a problem from a billing perspective, because the business is running on a certain amount of revenue that's expected, especially for my recurring. So what I have done is I made it very, very clear about the 30-day written termination in advance, that they, even after their month to month. And I said, look, you have this thus and so days to get serviced. Additionally, the other thing was, in my cancellation policy I have, is they can freeze for 1 month, but they must give me 20 days written notice. And I've had clients come to me saying, don't bill me, I want to freeze. And I said, I have a 20-day rent. I said, you're within the 20 days, you have to be charged out this month. You can freeze for next month, and so on and so forth. Now I've had to do that because of experience, where I've had clients default on the billing, and then I have given them services and I have not received payment. I have some who say they want to freeze and then never come back. I have some who, again, who want to cancel habitually. And so I had to have that tough conversation, saying, look, I understand, but I have one that's a very tough one. And I know if I force cancellation, they will cancel service permanently. So I gave her the prime slot on a Saturday, and I said, look, I want to let you know, the understanding is there's a wait list for this time slot on Saturday morning. I'm enforcing the cancellation policy on it. So if you're sick, you have to let me know the night before, otherwise you're being charged. And she's been very good about it, because she knows I was very clear with her. So I think the clearer you can be. Now, it sounds very much like a business and not empathetic at all. But it's that delicate balance with them, because they understand that I have a relationship with them as well. And, they know that they can contact me if they need to contact me if they need something. But those were the big hard lines I had to be there with. I had one person who did not want to wear a mask. I said, I'm sorry, that the boundary is, here's the policy. You can move online or we can discontinue. But, so I have to be consistent. I can't make exceptions, because then it sends a wrong message about the entire business.
Well, and when you said that, it made me think about what Erin said too, though. I mean, it's going to be about integrity and practicing what you preach. Because if you show up the way that you're asking them to show up, I think that's really helpful to them. And I think that it was Laura that said it in a previous meeting, setting that boundary and keeping that commitment, to being on time and ending on time and all of that. I have a really, especially now with COVID, it's very easy for me to go 5 minutes over because of all the time that I have in between. But I personally like that, but I also ask the person before I do it. If I say, this is where we are, we can end now, but we could do another 5 minutes. I have that time and your body seems to want it. But that's probably the worst that I'll do now. But yeah, it's having that integrity. Like Scott and I are always like, we will not go in our facility without a mask on. And, unless like there's something imperative, but then we make sure that we have time for the UV light and the full cleanup afterward. Like we had to do pictures in there at one point, but we both had to have enough time to get that taken care of afterward. And it's important for them to know that we have that integrity. Erin, when you said that about practicing what you preach about your self-care, running on, not taking somebody on an off time. Because then you might end up being resentful if they don't show up. But that's what makes it a harder line, though. I think it's helpful for them, but it's a harder line because you do develop that relationship. But a lot of times I'll say to somebody, is this coming up in other areas of your life? And for me, that's great, because that's what I do. The SER work, the somato-emotional release, because then somebody will get really upset and then they have a huge breakthrough on the table. So, but yeah, a lot of times it'll come up in another area of their life that it's not working, and that might be really helpful to them.
Right. It's typically patterns, the way that people are operating in the world. So, yeah.
All right, we have 15 more minutes left. So last question, Erin, we'll start with you. If you have employees, or if you did, which I don't know if you have regular kind of employees, or
I
they're
have
just
like contract employees,
yeah.
and an assistant. Yeah.
What
Not
are
like-
some of the most important policies for when you have like employees or subcontractors? What are the most important ones to put in place?
Yeah. So again, I have pretty clearly written out both job descriptions and office procedures and policies, including like pre-COVID and now how that has changed with COVID. So communication is a big part of that. So I try to be really open and available for all of my contractors. And, you know, we go through job descriptions, we go through all the procedures. I do have anyone as a contractor using Jane app, so we work with that together. I feel like the continuity when we're sharing patients is really great when we both have access to the same chart. And so that has been, again, it all comes back to this Jane app, I guess. But it does help really streamline a lot of the procedures that I have in place. And communication. So I'm always available. Like if they have a question about like a specific client issue, or if they need clarification on procedures related to COVID, or just like we have a lot of like cleaning procedures and things that, you know, are more in depth than they were. So again, I'm really always accessible to that. And I try to address things like as they're happening, so everyone is really clear. I do have the office procedures posted, or at least like available in the office, so everyone kind of knows how things should be running. And if there's any question about, you know, minor things, but things that keep the office flowing, like I just have that available, and I expect people to kind of to be on the same page. And let's see. Yeah, so I do have all that in writing, and, you know, most of it's very specific based on, you know, each specific role that I have right now, which is really only massage therapists and office assistant. And it says, you know, not everyone sees like specific job descriptions, but in terms of procedures and policies, like I do have that accessible in the office.
What about you, Scott? Yeah, employees, policies.
So I have 1099 as well, independent contractors. And when somebody comes in, I don't, for the purposes of what we do at the center, they have to shadow under me and almost like an understudy. And initially I take them through exactly all the procedures in place. You know, I'm not going to be redundant because Erin said a lot of what we do as well, but I make sure that I tell them, I show them, and then they do it. And even when it comes to taking a class, I will have them shadow, have them take a class with me and be with some individuals. Then I will have them combined, I will work with them in a co-teaching type setting, a co-setting, even down to an assessment on somebody. And I'll sit in on the assessment, let them do the assessment, and then chime in, show them how to do the paperwork, how to close the contract, etc., and the agreement. And then when I feel comfortable and they feel comfortable, that's when I kind of cut them loose. So it's just a gradual process of modeling what's in place. And so, yes, we have written procedures for everything. But I'm very big. What I also do is I use a True Colors personality inventory. Every 1099 that comes in takes a personality test to find out what is their learning style, what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses, because I want to work on their strengths, off of their strengths. And if I know they do not like what they're doing or a particular facet of the job, it will be glaring. And so I rely on that personality inventory just as a measure as to how they learn, so I can teach them based on their learning style and what their likes and dislikes are. And I even do feedback with them and say, even down to cleaners, do you like doing this or not? And in terms of this, or do you prefer doing something else? And I've realized with people, even down to social media, it's painfully obvious when somebody doesn't like what they're doing because of their production and the quality of work. And so checking in with them is definitely important, because I want to make sure that I use them to their capacity. And it's when you have a relationship with a 1099, and I have had several that have not worked out because they decide to veer in their own direction, bringing them back in, I do evaluations on them. And one thing I've realized for me with my 1099s and that's for retention, is I pay them very well, and they get quarterly bonuses based on their attendance, their punctuality, and the feedback from the customers. And so that whole dimension one piece of appreciation, I think, is very important for retaining them, and the fact that they're following the protocols.
You didn't do the colors test before. That just got implemented because of previous people.
That was implemented
So that goes,
previous issues, such as
that goes to what is working and what isn't working. What have you done for clientele? But in a sense, and we do have more than just the 1099, because we have assistants. And yeah, we have to have an array of assistants. You want to answer why? You want to say why we have to have an array of assistants?
Well, besides for time management, you take a look at the amount of money that you make an hour versus the amount you pay someone else. Delegating is probably the best thing, but also, more importantly, I'm not strong or have the time for social media. So somebody needs to do that. An accountant, money well spent to do my books. It's one less thing, and to meet with them, it is. And so for me, knowing my strong suits and the time I have equates to having these assistants, and these assistants, not micromanaging them. And that goes into modeling, and again, doing the things that they need to be doing, and making sure that they're doing it well so they can work. I'm trying to build capacity in those assistants, and Michelle does as well, to make life easier.
Well, and you don't have to micromanage if they like what they're doing. So that's where that personality assessment really comes in. We talked to two of them about, I was like, we really need more people on social media. And so he started priming two of them, and they each went to put out something on social media. And I said, yeah, never again, not them. You could tell they don't like what they're doing, the errors that were in it. And then we're like, okay, this one's going to do that. And, we have one doing the website. Actually, we have three doing the website right now, because parts of the website they don't all like to do.
And one of them,
so we had to bring people in.
And one of them is taking all the forums and putting them all electronic now, because I know that they can do a good job, and that they like to do that work, and they can be independent.
Yeah, so finding the right person for the right job is so important with employees, and we are pretty free about hours, especially we've always been virtual with them. The one I do the one that's always, actually I have two that are always on time or early. And I utilize those for the things that I need on time and early. You know, and that's been really helpful. Like things that we know we have to get something done at a certain time. We have two of them that we know that we can count on no matter what. So if you want to come in terms of like employees that way, that's been, we've learned our lesson the hard way, knowing that some people are a little bit more laid back about their schedule.
One other important thing that has ridded me of problems is when I communicate with my employees, I said, here's a hard deadline, here's a soft deadline. Hard deadlines must be met. This is a deadline, it has to get out. As opposed to soft deadlines, just continue to work on it. If it doesn't get done, it's fine. So delineating between hard and soft deadlines definitely has made a huge difference.
All right, well, thank you, everybody. We have about 4 minutes left of today's meeting. Michelle, is there anything else to bring up or remind people of?
I wanted to see if anybody had announcements. I know that Kim has an announcement.
Oh, okay. So my book, Ultimate Guide to Indoor Gardening, is now available for pre-order on Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
And so you put those links already, right, in the chat bar?
I did not. I didn't even think about that. So
Yeah, and also put that on the page, and then I can send that page over to the other part of the Holistic Chamber of Commerce too, the global.
okay.
And does anybody have anything that they want to celebrate? Nancy, I know you have a bunch of stuff.
Well, I just wanted to ask him a question about that. Is there something that helps you by us pre-ordering it before it comes out?
Absolutely.
What does that do?
What will happen is nobody's credit cards and stuff will be charged until September 21st when it is officially released. And if you have, 25, 100, whatever sales in that on the same day, your Amazon ranking goes up. So when I announced it and I had about 20 people pre-order on that day, it put me as #1 on Amazon's hot new releases. And it's only for a certain number, for an hour. And then the next book that has the sale. So my sales were pretty steady, I guess, for about 8 hours. So
That's great. That's good to know, because I wasn't clear when I went to the place, if it charged you then or not. And then also I was curious what it did with ranking or anything like that. So that's good.
Right. It does not charge until it ships and it'll be ready. It might come earlier, but they're having trouble with getting books printed and back to the States from China. So they wanted to fudge the date because it's supposed to really come in on the 13th, but they put the 21st just in case it's late.
Well, and so this is really good. Did you post that on the Holistic Chamber of Commerce page?
I think I did. I'm going to have to go back and check now that you said that, because I posted it, I thought, everywhere.
Yeah, and I think you did too, but I think that it was at a time where I was busy, and I think I shared it or said something to boost it. And that brings me to meetings and stuff. Like if you see anything come out, or like once a week, check our page and then share our meeting out if you can, and share out, Kim's thing, whenever somebody has something going on, when Laura does her radio show and she shares it on there, share that out to other places. It'd be really helpful for, because everybody needs to hear it. But so, Facebook gives you 10%. So, the 10% they give you isn't necessarily what's going to benefit you.
Yeah. So I did just put the link, and if you happen to use that link, it's my affiliate link, and that gets me a little bit of a percentage of the sales. And all my affiliate money goes to charity.
Oh, nice. I would add that on to, if you didn't already put it on the Holistic Chamber of Commerce post that you did, put that on there that it goes to charity. That's really nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I was just going to say that we're going to be celebrating our 20th anniversary from last year in probably September. So if anybody has, we've got different ideas of what we want to do, but if anybody has any recommendations of somebody that, you know, ideas yourself as far as, you know, celebratory food and things like that, it would be great. And then we'll be doing our silent auction. So if anybody wants to donate anything to that, proceeds from that will go to the Alzheimer's Association.
Okay.
So that's a couple of things coming up for us.
I can do a book bundle.
That would be awesome.
Okay. Remind me, because it's just a matter of getting the person's contact information and I can get the link to them.
Okay.
So it's nothing I can give you ahead of time to give to them. It's yeah.
No, that works, because then what I do is I try to set it up with a display so that people get more information about your business, but it can be something where when they win, they get information on how to get it from you.
Right.
Do you still have the original gift certificate that I gave you, Nancy?
I don't, it's somewhere. I need
Okay,
to.
I'll get you another one. Okay, so.
Oh, also real quick, I'm sorry. Nancy, I'm not sure, you would probably be the only other one that's a part of the Northern Anne Arundel County Chamber. I don't know if you heard that Dr. Joe Fiore passed away. Okay.
I did. I was like, that was a surprise. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's a chiropractor for those of you that don't know him.
Nancy,
Yep, thank you. Sorry.
I'm going to also go ahead and donate to the silent auction. Okay.
Okay, great. Awesome. Thank you.
Oh, and I guess I should mention that I'm going to be starting a restorative yoga class probably the end of June, maybe July. I have to get my time settled up and everything. I did just complete my 200 hours, even though I had yoga training before, but, and Laura signed up. So I'm so excited because we can talk about the yoga course and everything. We've been kind of chatting a lot about that lately. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. I know that Scott is excited that I'm finished with it.
I've listened to that guy for 6 months.
And let me tell you, they're hard to understand. I mean, you want the authentic experience, but you're listening to true Indian yogis try to speak English and you're like, what?
Yeah. And the spelling sometimes is a little rough too. And then when they get it, but they're so great about it. They really are. It's a great program.
You should see
But sometimes you have to go back. Hmm?
You should see Kinsley's eyes when he's talking and preaching.
Well, it's some of Scott's students have actually commented, what's going on at your house? Because they can hear it, because I have to have it up so loud to comprehend it sometimes.
You're shouting.
And they get really excited. And when they get really excited, he's like, can you turn it down? I'm like, ah. But yeah, it was an awesome program. So and one of the shout outs is that I'm really excited that Erin joined us tonight, because I know she's in the middle of a lot of craziness. And so kudos to you for keeping your integrity and being here. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was great. Thanks for having me.
And I definitely want to talk to you. I sent you an email, so reach out to me and give me some times.
Okay.
And our next meeting, we are actually doing it, I believe that we're going to be doing it at 4:30. I have to talk to Scott about that. We might be changing it. I might have to reach out and make sure it's changeable. So keep an eye out for that to be posted. Our very next meeting, which is sponsored more so by me than the HCC, is the Mastermind Group on June the 7th. And then June the 15th is our next meeting, Break the Stuck. And I do have those links in there so that you can sign up directly. They're all ready to go. And Nancy, you are in the July meeting.
I am.
Yes, you are.
For what? Spotlight? What is this for?
I'll be reaching out and send you the
Okay.
information.
Okay.
So, but thank you everybody for joining us. We will be sending out a recording of this for anybody that signed up. And we also were considering doing something for our 2-year grand opening, or 2-year opening with HCC. And we were talking about a picnic. So we will get together on that on the next leadership meeting. So, because I'm excited to see people in person right now. We're talking about maybe doing a park or something like that. So
Good luck with your house, Erin.
Thank you so
Congratulations
much.
again.
I appreciate that. I have to run though, but thank you again for having me.
Sure. All right, guys. It was
Thanks,
so
everyone.
good seeing you, and we will be sending this out within the week.
Bye.
Bye.